Apologies. Hi, everyone. This is Jill, 10,000 Years Institute. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Obviously, we're meeting virtually because our world and each of us face significant challenges. Hi, here I am. I can figure this out. We're facing significant challenges from the novel coronavirus. It seems to me that the viruses and Scotch Broom share a similar need for good science to inform practices and policies and develop strategies and solutions for this invasive plant pandemic. So I want to thank everyone who supported the development of the symposium. We couldn't have done it without the dedication and hard work of the team that is represented here. And thank you so much to everyone from the Recreation and Conservation Office, from which the funding through the Washington Coast Restoration and Resiliency Initiative comes to us to support this. Alice Rubin, Lisa Farrell, and Kayleen Cottingham and the WICRI team. And then we've got the National Science Foundation, and who funded research related to this and the 2017 symposium, the earlier symposium. We have researchers Karen Habensack from University of Arizona, and Sarah Grove and Dr. Ingrid Parker from the UC Santa Cruz, and the Oregon Department of Agriculture, Tim Butler, and all of the staff at Agriculture and Noxious Weeds. And we have the Oregon Invasive Species Council and the Washington Invasive Species Council, Justin, thank you, and the Washington State Department of Agriculture, all the staff, the pest program, and the plant services program, and the Department of Transportation, Ray, and all of the complete staff, the IPM staff. We have the Washington State Noxious Weed Control Board and Mary Fee and Wendy Descamp. Washington State University with Jen Andres and the Integrated Weed Control Project, and we have the Western Invasives Network with Troy Abercrombie. And thanks to you all. Couldn't have done it without you. So today we're going to move into WICRI. Today we're going to move into focusing on pulling together. We're going to be talking about watersheds, functional ecosystem services in watersheds, protecting them, developing solutions. We're going to focus on applied science and stewardship, and we particularly focus on creating local jobs and are going to be talking throughout the webinar series about the opportunities for Scotch Broom to present local jobs. Am I blocking the view of the slides?
No, you're fine.
Okay, thank you. Just had to check. Haven't done this before. Thanks, Mike. Oh, and thanks to Mike, particularly Mike Wendt, for managing all of this. So as we go through our various, oh great, now I can't, there. Okay, as we go through our days, today we're going to be focusing on impacts and management. And we're going to be hearing from researchers working to expand our understanding of this species ecology, its impact in native plant species, emerging information on biocontrols, and aspects of management within the changing landscapes and climate that surround us. And this research on the different pathways of impact by and to broom supports investment in action, which we really need. So there we go. And our next day, for some reason, my slides don't want to go forward. There we go. Next day, management actions, which is going to be a really action-packed, no pun intended, day of presentations, in which we turn to presentations covering on-the-ground work to stop Scotch Broom at the source and in its spread throughout all of our watersheds. We're going to be looking at integrated pest management strategies, fire and biocontrols, and we're going to focus on Scotch Broom in forests and mines. And we have a great panel of presenters for that. Hope you can join us for that day as well. And our third day on June 4th is going to be focused on successful approaches. And we are going to demonstrate different ways for managing and eliminating Scotch broom from our landscapes, in which we will hear from practitioners of broom response and control, including state agencies, local groups, nonprofits, and from Oregon, British Columbia, and Washington State. And we're looking forward to that. So one of the pieces that 10,000 Years Institute focus on, and that we all know implicitly, is that native plants are foundational to the ecosystems that we depend upon, and they provide critical ecosystem services. They're the sources of resilient habitats, food, clean water, and a stable climate. And we know that Scotch broom is affecting all of those. We know there's a cost, and one of the things that was extremely beneficial to being able to move this forward was developing the Invasive Species Council, developing the impact analysis for the costs of Scotch broom. And originally, way back, I participated and helped to form the Scotch broom working group. And we're no longer active. And in 2013, though, we had a couple of goals, and one was to go ask the Invasive Species Council to do this economic impact analysis, which we did. And it was fabulous because they responded immediately, and between WISC and WSDA and the Weed Board and others, we got this great information, from which it inspired Sarah Grove, Dr. Sarah Grove, who's presenting today, who had been doing research on the impacts of Scotch broom, along with Dr. Ingrid Parker and Karen Habensack, both presenting. That research was brought forward to us at one of the Olympic Weed Working Group meetings by Andy McKinnon, the co-author of Plants of the Pacific Northwest Coast. And with this tool, with this information, it stimulated Sarah to reach out to Washington Invasive Species Council, to Justin, to ask for a symposium. So that started rolling forward, and we had the first 2017 symposium, which was super well attended, I think 300 people, a number of great presentations, and that was integrated into the current WICRI project that we are funded for, to study the impacts of Scotch broom and to figure out disposal strategies for the biomass that's created by controlling Scotch broom in all of our various landscapes, and to continue education about Scotch broom to policymakers and landscape managers. And so we work really hard to create jobs in invasive species prevention, which provide multiple benefits across the landscape. And all of us are working together to do this at the same time that we are collecting valuable information that can be moved forward to policymakers, because we know that volunteering doesn't work for eliminating this species. And here I am, after having grown up on the Olympic Peninsula and watching this landscape change over time. Here I am seeing forests be replaced by Scotch broom, and the research is necessary to be able to prove within salmon recovery, within state and federal landscape management, within transportation corridors, that we need the funding to put people to work to eliminate this threat and be able to protect our forests and carbon sequestration and our agriculture and our fish habitat and wildlife, our recreational industries, and all of our action to reduce fire risk, to support biodiversity, and to bring dollars into impoverished communities. So I am going to end by calling out sorry, I have to find this. I'm going to end by calling out a Lifetime Achievement Award to an amazing practitioner who's contributed hugely both to our earlier symposium and to Scotch broom information and practices across landscapes. And that's to Dr. Tim Harrington, who's a research forester and insect pathogens and stressors team leader for USDA Pacific Northwest Research Station, and Tim is retiring soon. And we want to call out and recognize him for all of his contributions to our successes to date and continuing on into the future. So he's explored several important research areas, including overstory and understory relationships in managed Doug fir forests, the longer-term effects of vegetation control and logging debris manipulation in Doug fir plantations, regeneration biology of Scotch broom, and herbicide treatments for controlling invasive non-native plant species, and the effects of logging debris and management on light quality on understory plants. So thank you to Tim. He's retiring from public service in the near future. We thank him for his service, recognize that his research positively influenced biodiversity and ecological functions in Pacific Northwest forests, and in addition to ensuring steady production of the ecological services that society demands. And on that note, I'm going to turn this over back to Michael to be able to start our first session. And I thank you so much, all of you.